And hello everybody and welcome back. Unfortunately you guys would be waiting for Rustler at the moment. You still have to wait like 50 minutes before that because we swapped the games around. But very luckily we have Double with Lost Kingdom who's able to do it. But first we first have a €5 donation from Tiny Tin saying, "Hey all, someone, you are amazing, cheers." And without further ado, I would say good luck, Double, with Lost Kingdoms.
Alright, thank you, Rushla. So yes, as Rushla stated, this is Lost Kingdoms. All copyrights reserved 2002 from Software Incorporated. A name you might be more familiar with from games such as Demon's Souls, the 3 Dark Souls games, and Bloodborne. This is one of the things they were doing before Demon's Souls, etc.
Yeah, back when they were in their more experimental phase before they'd found what was really popular.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, the disembodied voice you just heard is my co-commentator for the day. I would tell you his name, but I actually don't know. All I can tell you is that he is totally not named Dan.
Correct. Hello there, everyone.
Yes, he's here as the as the enthusiast of any game that has cards in it.
Pretty much. And yeah, this is a card game. This is... Well, yeah, this... We like to refer to it as the Dark Souls of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's a real-time card game from the makers of Dark Souls. And...
Yes, this is a game in which we're gonna use cards to fight people. That's what we're doing here. So we're gonna name our character BSG because it seems appropriate. I would name it BSG Annual, but the character limit is 8, so that doesn't fit. Maybe I'll take an effort to name the deck Annual once we get an opportunity to.
Sounds good.
Alright, so I went in the new game, but time hasn't started yet, don't worry.
Time starts when we get control of the character.
Yes, so to explain... Yeah, we can count it in nice and easy. So you get this blurb of the pre-story, which is... One day there was fog everywhere, now there's monsters trying to kill people. That's your blurb here.
Yes, so your country's disappearing into...
So we have this loading screen here. After this loading screen, we'll get the first cutscene of the game. When I press start to skip this cutscene at any point is when we gain control and time starts. So let's roll it in 3, 2, 1, go.
And off we go.
Alright, so the first thing I'll explain is my health bar at the top. It's 50 right now. And the story is, the king tells us to stay into the castle, and he's gonna fight the monsters himself, and if things go south, get the runestone and get out. Surprise, things go south, so we're gonna get the runestone and get out. Runestones are the plot coupons of this game. So press start to get the cutscene.
Runestones are the magic artifacts which give you the ability to summon cards. They're your dual discs.
Essentially. Alright, so Lizardman, Dark Raven, Lizardman is the combo to use here. We have very carefully worked out every fight in the game. And yeah, you can see my health is 100 now because I have 1 runestone picked up. The progression of your character in this game is story progression based, rather than getting experience and leveling up. You get experience for the cards instead, but that's a mechanic that you don't really see in the speedrun, so I won't go too much into it. Now the game's gonna teach us how to play the game, except we're gonna say no.
Yes, we are.
Ah, no curse skip again. So that text box, if you press it away frame perfectly, you keep running and you avoid the animations of stopping and like resuming running again.
Yeah, saves you like a second and a half.
Oh.
And just run from this fight, and what are we gonna lose here?
Fairy, which is good. That's one of the cards I don't want to use in this stage. You get a pre-made deck here to start with, which is kind of bad. But we deal with it, and we'll be building a very solid deck later. Because of the enemies that are further on the stage, I escaped the fight on this side. But yeah, you can escape fights. Even though this is the tutorial where the game is meant to teach you the game, it lets you run away from fights. And that's not the case everywhere. There is a mechanic in the game where it can like prevent you from fleeing fights. So they could have done it here, but they didn't. Avoid getting farted on.
Yeah, because that is what the enemies do in this game.
And the 10 in the circle that you see on the top left of the screen is my resource for using cards. Now,
Your
But do
magic
this
stones,
right.
yeah.
You can also already kind of see what is going on here. There we go.
Yeah, so what's happening here is all the encounter zones we get into are squares on the map, essentially. And a lot of times the wall between squares doesn't line up quite perfectly, and we can pop out of bounds and just run into the void.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're stuck in the void, but any cutscene that places you in a specific point in the fight puts you back on the map, so that's why we can do it here.
There is
Right, so
one
we have this
exception
lovely
in
guy
one of
right
the
here.
later
I'm gonna
levels.
discard this card. Ow, the thing's exploded and it hurt me. So yeah, a thing I can also do is get rid of cards. Also, I'm gonna do this card that can throw around like this. Because while I'm doing that, I have invincibility frames. Ow,
Yeah, anytime you're throwing a card, you have invincibility, and the game does teach you that.
that's a miss. Alright, there we go. That's the first boss down.
Nice.
Alright, so we select the card rewards and yeah, press start to skip them.
Yep, so we don't even see what we got.
No, and that
It
is
doesn't
actually
matter
kind
at
of
this point.
important because there's a couple cards that I really want to be able to sell later for money.
Ah, yes, yes. Because you will need a certain amount of money to buy the deck that you need.
Alright, so let me look at what I want to sell here. The Mandragora, the Hobgoblin I don't need to sell because it's not worth... It's worth, yeah, basically nothing. You can see the price on them. It's, sell this. And then keep the Dragon Knight. And now I'm gonna buy 14 Flying Rays. You might not think buying the same card over and over again works well, but it does here.
Yeah, it means that you always have the cards you need.
Exactly.
And the nice thing
Mash,
about
because
Flying Ray
you can
is it
hold.
completely ignores defense.
Yeah,
And it
you
auto
can
aims.
you can hold the button to have it rapidly show up, but it takes a while before it starts rapidly putting them in. So actually mashing the button is faster. But yeah, as Dan was trying to explain, yeah, the Flying Ray has 15 attack, but it has a special property called Pierce Defense, where it ignores the enemy's defense, so it always does a flat 15 damage.
So it's always good even in the late game.
Yeah, it's also an attack. It's an attack that also automatically homes in on enemies, and it's a fast attack.
Yeah, very occasionally that homing in on enemies will get in the way of targeting the enemy you want, but generally speaking, it's
Dang
nice
it.
and convenient.
Why a blue?
Oh, so you can skip encounters in this level. You can flee from them anyway. But what you can't do is flee from any that have one of those capstans, those lightable flames in.
Yeah, exactly. Those fights are locked, and the blue one is one you usually don't get because you may have seen me walk around a very particular way. Like the routing I take through walking through the stage is very particular because it runs on encounter lines. As Dan explained earlier, the game divides the fight areas into squares, and that holds true on the map.
Yeah, and if you walk right between the two squares, you're not in any specific one, and so it can't put you in an encounter.
Yeah, exactly, because if the game could, then there would be a risk of clipping you out of bounds if it gave you the encounter on an edge. Now here we got. I'm gonna discard these two. So stand in a specific spot and just press buttons.
Yeah, this boss has a long-range move and a short-range move, and if you stand in just the right position, then it gets confused and can't use either.
Yeah, it just doesn't know whether to do the close range. Like you're in that spot where it's like the long range attack will go over you, and then the short range attack will be like too close.
Yeah. Now, if you're facing the enemy, your attack will drag you forward and into range. But if you're facing off to the side, because it auto aims, it'll drag you forwards, but that'll be tangential to the boss, so it won't matter.
And yeah, also one thing we didn't mention, that stage we just got out of is the first stage where we get to deal with random encounters. This is the second. And shoutouts to my the run I did for BSG before on this, on BSG Online 4, if I remember correctly, where I got my very first encounterless burial grounds, which is the stage we're currently in. So
nice.
This encounter here is scripted. It's scripted, you will always get it here, but it's not an encounter. It's scripted to appear, but it's not an encounter that we can't escape from. So we just run all the way to the end and get out of it.
Yeah,
the only penalty is that you lose a card, so...
And we have to escape from this side. If we escape from the other side and go back into the square, we will get the encounter over and over and over again.
Yeah, that too. Also, the dropping cards when running away from a fight is also contributes to why we like, I don't need 14 flying rays, but because of all the encounters, I buy more cards than needed so I can afford to lose them.
Yeah, because if you lose 4 flying rays, you've still got 10.
Yeah, exactly. Generally, you top runners of this game for PB attempts will buy like what, 8
Something
flying
like
rays or
that.
so. I don't know how many 7th buys, but
The gravestones here are a puzzle. You're supposed to read all the other gravestones throughout the level to work out the order, but it never changes. We can just go straight through.
exactly. I have had very little practice, partly due to doing this run earlier than planned, as was announced. But so I'm a little surprised I remembered. So the side where the necromancer goes here determines how I move. So he moves towards one of the 2 skeletons, and I move to the same one.
Yeah, because
So-
that way, if you're standing right up against the skeleton, your flying ray will go between the skeleton and him and hit both. Correct?
Yes, that's the idea. Because yeah, you once as long as the skeletons are alive. Oh, so close to no damage. 1 health.
Still
I was about
a
to
very
say, I
good
was about to mention
fight.
how well I was kiting him with the
Yeah, you did a
flying
great
rays.
job there.
Whoops, little goof up on the menuing there. So
Still a
one
good
thing I
burial
also
grounds
haven't
all the same.
mentioned yet, if there's a string of text boxes, you can skip through it with 1 press of the B button, which is why I've been using B to skip out. Also, this stage is scary. I'm gonna leave. But we have to do it to get through the game, so I guess I'll go back in.
Yeah, so in certain stages, there are encounters that you won't still get if you're in what we like to term easy mode, which is where the game says, oh, you've died on this stage, we're going to take out some of the stuff, make your life a little less hard.
Yeah, it's a sort of dynamic difficulty thing where it makes the stage easy for you if you fail it, and willingly leaving the stage also
Also
Well-
counts as failing it, yes.
yeah, it does the same thing. And also more specific pathing, because you walk slow through this sewer water, so we want to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah,
Also,
but-
we mentioned before the flying ray does a flat 15 damage, except I just took out an 18 health player spawn with 1 flying ray. How does that work?
Yeah, the nice thing there is we have an element system in play. Our flying rays are water element, which just so happens to deal double damage against fire monsters.
Correction, plus 50%.
It's plus 50%, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
so against
In a little
fire
while, sorry.
enemies, the flying rays will do 22 damage.
Which made them particularly good against the last fire golem boss.
Also, I'm gonna
Fire golem boss a
discard
couple
here.
levels earlier as well.
Discarding is where you put a card away for use later, basically. You discard it for just the fight only. You build your deck and you get 1 card usage out of it per stage. Like, you only get it back when you...
Well, each card has a certain amount of health. If you use up that card completely, then yeah, you won't get it back to the end of the stage.
There's another scripted fight that you can run away from. But yeah, what we have to do in this stage is, like, break these glass containers and then beat the fight here.
Yeah, you will also notice that a lot of the time, we said it was slow to walk in the sewage, and yet we are walking in the sewage a lot of the time. That's because if part of your model is over the floor, then it counts you as on the floor and you get the speed as being on the floor.
Yeah, exactly, I'm doing
Even
it right
though-
here, so yeah, it's just as long as the game counts you as running on the regular floor. This is the
Even
deck
though
point, it
You have
restores
to
your
actually
health.
be- Oh, yep. You
But,
can also adjust your deck, put in any cards you found in the level, but that's slow, and we don't need to do that. We've got the deck we need already.
Exactly. I'm gonna do a safety strat here in this fight. And this also gives a good way to introduce breakable objects. There's certain objects that can be broken.
Yep, there's a whole bunch of
It's
objects
that
in this game that you can break with cards. So you can see the object in the main game, but you have to actually get into an encounter to do it.
Yeah, because the water hopper here is really far away, I'm gonna break the chest first. Because if I did this first, I would now not be able to get back in time to use cards to break it. So we're gonna have to take it the slow way. Normally you try to lure the water hopper over, but didn't work out. So we get the running bird. That's going to be a very important card later.
Yeah, running bird is an excellent card.
Keep it in
Not
mind.
for the reason that you might think, though. Because running bird, its whole thing is it increases your speed to double speed, which I think it's double anyway. It could be 50% again. And you'd think that would be amazing in a speed run, but actually, because you can only use it during the encounters, it doesn't help at all.
Okay, yeah, this guy's being...
effect with it.
I need to actually fight these guys because they keep slapping me. Luckily I hit them both. It's pretty hard to actually hit multiple enemies with the flying ray if they're next to each other, but luckily it worked out. Yeah, this has been not a great Sarvan. I had to slow back up. I got that optional encounter.
Dale, you mean?
Oh. So my cards are grayed out right now because I don't have enough stones to use it. However, instead of not allowing you to use them,
it will just drain your health.
It will drain my health instead, which is why I have 19 health now.
Yeah, and when you're below a certain health, you will go into this staggered state. You walk slower.
Yeah, exactly, which is very unfortunate.
And you'll see at the end of the encounter, we were also flashing yellow, which means we've been paralyzed, I think it is. Which says
yeah, it's a paralysis, which also
again.
makes you walk slow. So this cutscene, we skip the cutscene, as we do in Speedrun, so you'd imagine that the gate there fast forwards to where it would normally be when the cutscene ends when you let it play out. Except that's not the case. It remains in the state that it's in when you skip the cutscene, so it's still in the process of opening now. Normally, the cutscene only ends when the gate's fully opened.
Yeah, we get to it hasn't even finished opening.
Alright, I really hope I do not get this encounter now, because I might actually die if I get unlucky. Because there's likely going to be a Dragon Knight. Yeah, I'm going to have to...
We can potentially get an encounter here, and
okay,
when we
grab
do,
and Water Hopper, that's fine.
It can even be a rare lizard, though, that petrifies us, which costs us a lot of time, even if we're not on low health, so...
Alright, so here's one of the cards that I really want for the money. The Mind Flayer card, which is the boss we fought in this stage. Once we actually get the selling card, we'll see if we get it. Now, onto the Castle Grail, which is the first major time loss point, because there's going to be a lovely lady here at the end that we're going to have to fight. And she is an absolute pain to deal with.
Yes. Eleanor, wonderful character, but yeah, bit of a pain to fight.
And what if I told you we have to fight her again later in the game? That doesn't sound very fun.
No, the second fight's not as bad. You'll see
but
why.
Yeah, we have a plan for the second Helena encounter. Just you wait. Yeah, in this stage there's a bunch of statues you have to interact with. What I'm actually doing is I actually slide my finger because this is a GameCube game, so I'm using a GameCube controller. So what I'm actually doing is I'm pressing A to interact with the statue, and then I slide my hand over to press B to skip the text box.
Seems to be working out well for you.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I slide my thumb a little too far and hit the C stick, which controls the camera, like this. So I sometimes do it, and then the camera just turns around.
Nice.
Oh god, the Will-O-Wisps. Will-O-Wisps are bad. When they hit you, they knock you down.
Weirdly, there's a slight glitch in that if one explodes, they all explode, regardless of where they are on the map.
Yeah, it's supposed to only explode when the explosion hits them, like a chain reaction thing, but yeah, that's a problem with that. So there's another deck point that I would have taken if I was low on health, but I have full health for this. So let's meet Helena.
Yeah, here we go, and Anna is another card user, another runestone user. So she will be summoning all sorts of little independent creatures like the hobgoblins, these skeletons, maybe some mandragoras and stuff.
And actually, similar to me, whenever Helena's using cards, she has invincibility frames like I do. In fact, every card's missed so far.
Yeah, which makes this a fair fight, but also a really obnoxious one. because there is just so much time she is invincible and our cards are not hitting.
Yeah, I might actually already be SOL here. I'm starting to run out of cards. So another reason to pack more cards. Also, Helena can waste a lot of time with these summons. Where it summons a monster, it does, because Helena's also not here right now. Now she comes back, and if I time this right, I'll hit her.
We did actually have this werewolf as lycanthrope in our starting deck, but we didn't use it because it's far too slow.
Alright, I need to stand in the way so I'll target, because I'm also, like, losing health. Alright, finally got out of this fight, so no reset, and that's all I can ask for in a marathon. My deck actually ran out of cards, and if you run out of cards, you have to reset the stage. There's nothing you can do. So we get another runestone here, which means our health increases, and also our maximum resource, from 10 to 15.
Yeah. So when it comes to running out of cards, you can still continue the level, but you can't do any fighting, so you can't damage anybody or anything. So if you're in an encounter that you can't flee from, you are completely out of luck.
Alright, so here's another apothecary visit where we can buy and sell cards, but we skip it here. We're gonna be doing some shopping later. But now we go into Bridge of Sarvan, and Dan has a little interesting fact about the stage.
Yes, the thing about this is if you run backwards at the start of the stage, you can actually get out of bounds there and skip the entire thing. But we found out it's quicker not to.
Yeah, that's
quicker to get out a little further
the
on.
place where I'll be clipping out is faster to do. Also, this is another very important card, the Golden Butterfly.
So the Golden Butterfly is the exact opposite of the Running Bird. It slows all your enemies down, which again doesn't really help in the speedrun, but it's got a secondary effect that we'll be trying out later, and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
And the thing is, the out of bounds at the start of the stage that Dan mentioned is so easy that I managed to do it on a dance pad.
Yeah.
Now for swag, I'm gonna do this on the harder side of the bridge.
So this one, because it's perfectly flat, what we actually have to do is we have to walk at it until we get out of bounds and then let go of the control stick. So we
also need to not be running. Okay, I tried it for a bit. Let's do the easier side. So we can
see... Now pause buffer it so that we can see when we're out of bounds, so we can just basically
there we go,
time that.
got it. So yeah, the pause buffer is you pause and you try to pause on a frame where you're partly clipped through and then let go of the control stick so you don't move anymore after fully falling through.
Yeah, because if you keep moving, that'll just pop you back up.
Yeah, if you move out of the clip. Also, I need to be wider here because I can still get into fights if I'm in the encounter zones.
That you can. So I don't think there's anything you can't flee from in this level.
No, you can't flee from it. It's just a time loss of having to flee.
But if you get trapped in an unfleeable encounter
Kendari Castle,
there's nothing you can do.
Spam start and hope.
This one's great. Are you gonna get it? You gonna get it? You gonna get a Kendari skill?
Hey!
Yeah, frame perfect. Skip the entire level.
Yes, that entire level. That's just a cutscene.
Yes.
That was a joke.
Oh, here's another stage where we can go backwards and get out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right at the beginning.
So, good news, I don't need to pause buffer for this. Bad news, I need to match B while I do this.
Yeah, because this is actually so far at the back of the level that it will tell us that, well, it will ask us if we want to leave the level when we try to go out of bounds here.
Yeah. There we go.
But the fun part about this is this entire level is one big spiral. So we can just walk straight to the boss and save so much time.
Yeah, there we go. So this full stage is an escort mission, but even if you did the stage normally, if you talk to the guy that you're escorting, and then run ahead of him, the fights that you're supposed to protect him from that are gonna happen never happen.
Yeah, basically he will give you the encounters, and if you run ahead of him, you never get.
Okay, I have a lizard man, so I can do this. So 2 flying rays puts these caterpillars at exactly 2 health, like that. And then I can use the lizard man to finish him off.
Nice.
Right, I have to focus here. So if I time my flying ray right, I can actually iframe through his attacks. And the iframe of the flying ray is very short. I can also do it with the lizard man.
Yeah. all your cards have some degree of iframes, but
Nice, that was
better for it than
an
others.
excellent Papa Master fight.
Oh yeah, you took next to no damage on that one.
Yeah, I got hit by the caterpillars at some point, but yeah, I didn't take any actual damage from that. Now, I only got 1 card reward in that stage. Because, yeah, the game grades you on things like the damage you take, the cards you use, and the number of monsters you defeat. So if we skip a lot, we don't do much, and we get a low grade and get the pick less cards.
Yeah.
So, let's see if I got the flying ray. I got Mind Flayer, let's go. I also got an extra Siren.
Oh, sweet.
Siren is one of the cards we need to buy for later. And getting one in the stage, it's a 1 in 6 chance to get it as a reward for Bridge of Sarvan, and I only got 1 card for that stage.
Yeah.
Also,
In
Kato
addition
Bless,
to-
run it hella bless. I even got Katobo Pass.
Yes.
Yeah, this is good. Alright, so I'm gonna buy 10 Dragon Knights. That's the
nice.
shopping I do here. We're not gonna use them yet. We're gonna use them later, but this is the only chance in the game you can buy them in the shop. They disappear later, so we get them now. Into Burden Field, which is the theoretically hardest clip in the game, because it's similar to the Bridge of Sarvan clip in difficulty, except you cannot do pause buffering for it.
Yeah, because it's not on flat ground, this one. I'm going to call it second hardest clip, though, because there is one other clip that nobody has managed to do in the final boss level.
I actually didn't know about that.
It is something like 1/10 of 1 instance of movement wide. So, we know it is impossible clip, because as far as we know, it is impossible, but there is technically a clip there.
Now, we can't pause buffer this. However, something that more or less the only contribution I've made to this game is finding a somewhat weird visual cue using slightly off-colored spaces in the wall here. To roughly know where the clip spot is. You can see it here. It's extremely precise.
Yeah, a lot of them, if you zoom right in, there's some indication that there's a line between encounter zones there. But it's not always easy to spot.
So yeah, while I was trying to get this to work, Rushla, if you have anything to say, go for it.
Sure. We are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organize bi-monthly gatherings in the Benelux for speedrunners. Due to the situation surrounding COVID-19, we're currently doing our events online for the time being. This event features streamers from both the Benelux and the rest of the world, bringing you entertainment during the lockdown. And if you want to donate, we are actually raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who's dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. All of your donations will go to Mind, and if you donate, you also have a chance to win some prizes. Like at the moment, if you donate at least €5, you have a chance for a DoubleDubbel plush. And I don't know if you've seen it, the picture of it in the intermission, but it looks amazing. And you have only 6 more hours to make a chance for the DoubleDubbel plush. And we also have some other prizes, and you can check them out at !prizes in chat.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Rushla. We in the meantime we took down Beelzebub, and Beelzebub has the nice little effect as a card that it boosts all cards' damage by 50%. It does the same as an enemy, so so the flying rays were doing 22 damage, even though we didn't have a type advantage. Also, Castle of White, we do another abort here.
Yeah, so that was the reason we went for the Archer Trees first. If the Beelzebub is alive when we kill the Archer Trees die in 1 hit rather than 2. And technically, you can do that after the Beelzebub has died if you get it during the death animation, but it's very finicky, so it's a lot safer not to go for that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, when they hit you, you can get poisoned, which stuns you when the poison triggers, and it allows Beelzebub to hit you. I also was not trying to iframe through, because the attack is just too that's too big of a hitbox to iframe through with flying rays. Oh, Didn't quite hit him there. So the guy I've talked to at the beginning of the stage, he gives you a running bird card. That's the running bird we normally pick up in like PB attempts. Like the one I got earlier as a backup, that's one we normally don't get. So
in
avoiding
this
some
stage,
encounter zones
you can just abort, go back in, get running bird after running bird after running bird as well.
Yeah, exactly. And normally there's an encounter there, but when you abort into easy mode, then that's one of the fights that actually gets taken out. Alright, so I'm gonna break this and break this. It's still trying to go for the kitty trap. Okay. So break that to give myself an easier walk back, and then hit the kitty trap from far away. Remember kitty trap, because that's going to be another very important card coming up later.
Yeah, kitty trap, if you get close to it, is another one that will explode on you. It is very much a booby trap the zone card.
Yeah.
But
so
also,
unfortunately, I have to walk through the encounter zones here to get to this elevator, so let's hope I can... If I get the encounter, it's okay if I get it now, because I can just run away up here.
yeah, you can run away up top once the elevator's up.
Alright, the quote-unquote boss fight, there's no actual boss, it's just a bunch of regular enemies that you fight, but it's the final fight of the stage. These Chaos Knights like to jump around, so I just press buttons and hope I don't crash the game, because I've never done it before, and I've just jinxed myself by saying that.
Yeah, so one thing that can happen in this is you spawn a lot of crystals. If you spawn too many, they will overflow the memory, take up the space of one of the blue fairies that randomly appears in this game, and that will crash things massively. There is another way you can crash in this stage there. There is a mechanic where you can throw cards to capture enemies, and I managed to get a completely new glitch in my own attempt where you throw the capture card, it hits the enemies, and the enemies pop the capture card out of bounds. And then the game crashes because you've thrown a card out of bounds.
Yeah, it's fine if you go out of bounds in a fight, because we're actually going to be doing that later. But cards is a big no-no.
Exactly.
Alright, so there's these fences here. If I get an encounter, I break the fence and run away that way. It's still a time loss, but it mitigates the time loss from getting encounters here.
Yeah.
It's still faster to not get the encounter at all, but, you know,
We can't
mitigating
control
time
that,
loss
it's
is still
random.
nice. Also, more encounter lines that I'll be walking on as I go from this side to the other. Right before the chest, nice.
Right after would be so much nicer, but what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. If I got it right after, I can just do the normal routing through the stage and run away. But both the encounters I got before the chest, so nice luck there.
Both the encounters were pretty friendly to you, though. It can spawn a monster right by you, and if it does, then that will eat your flying ray. And so it's a lot harder to break the barrier.
Yeah, so it's encouraged to use Lizard Men to break the cage. Or to break the fence.
Yeah, but if you don't draw Lizard Man, what can you do?
Yeah. Alright. So now I break the fence so I can just run to the chest from here and don't have to go all the way around the fence.
Nice. That is the most time save of any encounter, which is... I mean, it's still time lost for getting the encounter, but...
Yeah.
Barely that one.
Well, it might actually save time now that I think about it, because it prevents, like, walking all the way around with no encounter.
I think we tested it and it doesn't quite, but it's very close.
Oh, that was more or less a frame-perfect cutscene skip. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I saw one frame of it fading to black.
Yeah, exactly. And now, one downside is it's because of my limited like PC things. I have to stream in 30 FPS. But guess what? This game is in 30 FPS, so it's fine.
Oh, I thought it was the sequel that was 30 FPS.
No, because I've done some streams in 60 FPS before, and then when I checked the VOD to do load times, because we time out loads in this game, when I did frame advancing on YouTube, it would just keep the same frame on screen for 2 frames before moving on to the next. So yeah, the vampire you can just stun lock if you do it right.
Yeah.
I tried
However,
to use a card that was not there, so that didn't work out.
However, if you do it wrong, he will hit you, and he has vampirism, so you can end up running out of cards because he just keeps gaining health, and you can't take it off fast enough.
Yeah, the demons that I beat first also have that as well, that if they hit you when they don't have full health, they get health back.
Yep.
Alright, now we're going to be doing some more shopping and setting up for the end game. Because that second Helena fight we alluded to is coming up. I need to sell
So
things
we're buying a
first.
Hand of Pain to go with our Siren, Running Bird, and Butterfly, right?
Yeah. Oh, nice Beelzebub, two Nightmares.
Oh, you got some valuable cards.
Sure, I'll sell the Archer Trees. I'll sell the Hobgoblin. In the end, so I only have to buy one Siren this time because I need 2 in total. 1 Hand of Pain and then 9 Kitty Traps. Although I have a lot more money than that, but 9 is the number I go for.
9's all you need. I mean, 9's more than you strictly
Right, time
need,
for the deck edit. Now, remember how I mentioned that once you run out of cards, you can't do anything. So you might think that bringing only 4 cards is a terrible idea, but
if you bring only 4 cards, that's a full hand, nothing more. You will always draw exactly the cards you need.
Exactly, and watch what we're gonna do here.
So here, there's a nice little combo with the Running Bird and Gold Butterfly that just stops time. And then while time stops, they can't get iframes, so this Siren will just melt people.
Exactly, the Hand of Pain is to boost the damage of water cards, so Siren does more damage because it's a water card.
And that one does double, doesn't it?
And to bring the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff back, we call that Siren Exodia. So
yeah,
if you don't have enough money, you can do a backup strat here where you sell the cards you get as a reward from the stage and buy a couple more kitty traps. But because we have everything we don't need and we can leave right away.
Nice.
Now don't forget the deck edit here, because I do that more often than I want to admit. So put the backup there and then put in all the kitty traps and all the Dragonites. This is going to be your deck for the rest of the game. Also, I said I would, so I'm going to rename this deck to Annual. Let's do it now. Appropriate that I renamed the deck after the last deck edit. Oh, we got Princess BSG with her deck Annual. This stage is extremely confusing when you don't know where to go. Luckily, I know where to go.
I forgot that every character is named Princess and then your character name.
Alright, so this was an optional encounter, so we're gonna flee over here. Now we're gonna get an encounter immediately. This is not normally supposed to be a thing. There's a cooldown between encounters, but scripted encounters override that cooldown.
Correct.
Alright, time to try a stupid. Put Siren near them. It's not gonna work.
That does sound like a stupid because these guys can teleport.
Yeah, exactly. Except that guy is getting melted. That other guy is getting destroyed by Siren. Siren actually took him down.
Well, that's just bad AI then.
Ow. Did that hit? No. There.
But the one thing we don't want to use here is the kitty traps because they're very useful later in this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Now, just for pure safety, I know I have 200 health, but I am not gonna risk things here. Because this boss fight can go very south when the strat doesn't work. I want to have 300 health going into this. Also, avoid these guys because they actually can hit you and do environmental damage.
Yeah, and as far as I know, that's the only thing that can deal you damage outside of battle.
Exactly. So here's the dragon fight. So there's a dragon and 2 Hands of Pain. Remember when I said that enemies give their effect to you as well? So we have kitty traps here which are fire-based.
Yeah, so
the Hands of Pain here.
These are Hands of Fire, which are the fire equivalent of the Hands of Pain.
That's the strat failed. Because that kitty trap's gonna go up. I need 3 of them. Let me discard this. But this is what I mean. Like, I'm slowed down as well. Where is the dragon? Where'd he go? Over there. Because the I'm gonna have to kill him, unfortunately, which means the strategy is not gonna instantly kill him. Can you attack me, please, so I can dodge you?
While those hands are alive, all our fire cards will deal double damage, which is why we bring a big fire combo in rather than a water to fight the fire thing, because it actually does more damage than using water.
Yeah.
And yeah, you put 3 kitty traps out, they make one giant explosion that we like to call Catastrophe. I'm not sure if it's stated in the game anywhere or not. I thought it was, but I haven't been able to re-find it.
Alright. So, Siren, go!
There is, in fact, a geyser somewhere in this particular boss fight, and interestingly, the hands double the environmental damage from it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunate that the strat didn't work out, but at least I showed it off. So, yeah, the idea is you pop the 3 kitty traps right away, and then it blows up everyone. So, Ruarok Temple, final stage where we do an abort. Because, to give you an idea of how much time it saves to do, most of the time you spend doing these aborts is loading, which as I mentioned before, is manually timed out. So this is a strat
that means we can have a better comparison between consoles that of different ages and also emulators and other such things.
Yeah, because if you check the leaderboard, you can see wildly varying differences between RTA and loadless.
Indeed. I think high up on the leaderboard at the moment, there's also a run of the Japanese version of the game, where RTA doesn't count loads, but does count all the menus and everything. Sorry, not RTA. In-game time doesn't count loads, but does count everything else. And so the in-game time matches the load removed runtime. Quite impressive. But that's part of the Japanese version. That's not in the American or European.
Yeah. So to give you a frame of reference, the average amount of encounters you'll get when not doing abort is 6 to 7. When you do abort, the average is 2 to 3.
Ooh, that's a nice save.
Yeah, I remember when I first learned this game using Solder Pop's excellent tutorial that you can check out. Beginner's guide to beginner's guide to speedrunning Lost Kingdoms. If you look up Lost Kingdoms speedrunning, it'll probably pop up. If you look up Lost Kingdoms speedrun on YouTube, you'll probably find a playlist somewhere, or at least the videos. It's an excellent learning tool for the game. There's most of what I've shown here is the beginner strats that you see in that video. The only thing I do that tutorial series doesn't show is a couple extra aborts. The tutorial series only shows the abort in Castle of White. The super stage that I did and this stage right here, it does not do the abort in that, but that's something the excellent Discord for this game can teach you about.
Yeah, I can already see the difference it's making, because I've had 8 encounters in this stage at least, and it is a nightmare. Yeah,
this is probably the most encounters that get taken out, or at least the chance of it reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're interested in learning this game, yeah, I've been showing you the strats that you would be using if you're first learning the game. And yeah, like you can find the Discord on the speedrun.com page if it wants to load. Because that's always a toss-up. Also, yeah, these chests, they contain like card rewards and stuff. But yeah, we skip those. Like, we pick up the golden butterfly, but nothing else.
Yeah,
right,
nothing
here's
else
just
is that useful
beat up people. That's not what you said. Just use the cards that you're given. The Dragon Knights are useful. They're strong cards, but unfortunately they cause like a lot of like their stun is really long.
Yeah.
Okay, I accidentally threw down the butterfly. Sure, let's. Okay, butterfly's gone, and I'm petrified now. Whoops.
Yep, time stopped you, isn't it? Yeah, these guys click petrify, which is basically a mini time stop. Fortunately, I believe we can mash out of it.
Wiggle the control stick.
There you go.
I need to start caring about my health a little. Let me try to stun lock this guy.
Well, it looks like you have... Oh no, your kitty trap's on now.
Okay. There we go, that's that fight done. Bit messy, took more damage than I would have liked, but... Any damage you take that doesn't knock you down, doesn't limit your movement. Like, it gives you a short damage animation, but you can just keep going. Now we're gonna move the map all the way over here for Broch Black. which is
Yeah,
the
this
run
is the
killer.
final stage and by far the hardest stage in the game.
Yeah, this is where the Dark Souls portion of this whole comparison thing comes in.
Absolutely.
So every encounter in this stage is one of the bosses we fought in previous stages. I'm gonna not bother with them if I can, but if I lose a card that I absolutely need, I have to reset the stage. Kitty Trap is not one of them. The Hand of Pain,
also...
I need both Sirens, I need the Hand of Pain, and I need the Butterfly. I have 2 Running Birds, so I can't afford to lose 1 Running Bird.
There is also a point in this, a whole bunch of points in this stage where the random encounters can't be aborted, so we may potentially have to fight these past bosses as well.
Yeah, it's in between these teleporting islands. So this is gonna be the first out of bounds in a fight that I do. And what we're doing now is we're just doing the stage sequencing to spawn that fight.
Yeah, we do get a key item there that gets us through a door, but we won't actually be going through that door. We're just doing this to start the fight that we have to skip.
Yeah, so these are these fights here. It's also always Beelzebub. I'm gonna throw down the Hand of Pain here.
No, I'm pretty sure it can be a vampire on some of them.
I've never had anything other. So I use the Hand of Pain there, but it doesn't go away. It just keeps its normal health. It keeps the health it left the stage at.
Yeah, so it will have lost a tiny bit of health just from being out for that time, but it'll be almost full still. So it'll still work perfectly fine.
I just do it to two-shot the Beelzebub.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually get rid of it because I don't want to waste it. I already have 3 Kitty Traps, which is part 1. I just need Siren. So yeah, I'm just like rolling out cards here until I get Siren. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out so I can see where these puppet masters are. Because the ideal outcome is that that they get blown up. Okay, so put the cards down and flip out of bounds because the enemies or the people that are around, like the monsters you summon pushing you, is a greater power than the wall pushing you back in, so it pushes you out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna walk outside the boundaries of the actual
them,
map into the black void here. Also, we're absolutely blessed here that we have a mini-map, because that's the only way we can maneuver around while out of bounds without losing our sanity.
Yeah, because you cannot see where you are at all.
Yeah, you can go in between the islands, but the encounter line is extremely thin there, so it's not so... you risk getting into encounter, which you can't run away from because you're out of bounds. But it risks you potentially losing a card that you absolutely need and would like force you to reset the stage.
No, a lot of those encounters aren't even abortable.
No, the ones around the islands are.
Oh, okay. It's only those ones in the rooms.
Yeah, it's when you're in the room, you can't, like, you're stuck on the island, so you can't actually reach the boundaries. But you can reach them while out of bounds because there's nothing stopping you.
Right.
Okay,
and
so I already have
boss,
3 of the cards I need. I just need a Siren
here. That first Helena fight was awful. This boss is even worse. He summons a whole load of monsters with big attacks that cover a large area.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to use this Siren because it's near death.
Long cutscene summons like this. He will chase you down and hit you with vampiric attacks when he's on low health. And just, yeah, he's an absolute nightmare to fight. Unless you have the Siren Hand of Pain time stop combo.
Exactly. However, it's tricky to set up. You need to time it right.
Yeah, because if you catch it during his summons, he can potentially iframe it.
Also, I'm going to stand on this side of him because there's a chance that the time stop will wear off before he's dead. So I'm just like keeping him in place here. In fact, he just killed Siren. So I have 12 cards here to try and take out his remaining health.
Right, so we do still have to fight him normally a tiny bit, but...
Yeah. So I'm going to stand close to this. Because he's going to summon these skulls, and I just want to get hit of them to get rid of them.
Yeah, Necromancer, that card is particularly interesting in that what it does depends on whether or not he has that skeleton card on the field with it. It will not spawn the skulls if the skeleton is not there.
I just pressed that button. I pressed the button just before the cutscene came up, so I actually didn't use the card and can hopefully time this properly now. Nope.
Aww.
There we go, got him. Backup worked. Good.
Nice.
Alright, that's the boss down.
Yep, and so now we go into the final
But
boss.
don't get ready on time, because there's another boss.
Indeed.
This is the God of Destruction.
Yeah, and we can still use all our combos against the God of Destruction, but he has some very long iframes, and...
Yeah, so I just try to get
won't
damage in when I
kill
can. Also, I'm trying to chill between these two elementals because they're the easiest to dodge. Also, don't get hit by that ray. It's bad. It does 98 damage. That attack, by the way, when it's exploding in the middle, when all 4 elementals are around, that puts you to 1 health.
Yeah, that just sets your health to 1, regardless of what it...
Yeah, exactly.
Before.
If your health is already at 1, because you may have gotten hit by it earlier, it does nothing at that point. Alright, so I want to throw more kitty traps down, because I want to save my Dragon Knights here. This boss is essentially what we bought the Dragon Knights for, because we're going to try to... Because we can stun lock him with different... by using different Dragon Knights, because there's a cooldown on using the same card again. You know what? Go, Siren.
Yeah, when you use a card, its health will burn down, and while its health is burning down, you can't use it. But you can still use other cards, even if they are identical cards.
Alright, so I'm just gonna chill here.
Why we buy so many of the same card in this
If I stand in the same spot, he can't hit me with his attack, and the elementals will also miss me. So I'm gonna throw the Hand of Pain down to boost the these guys that I'm about to use. Yeah, it just got killed, so unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to go.
You still get that 1 or 2 boosted hits as it's dying.
Also, yeah, I'm gonna be dropping health to having no magic stones left. So that's also why I don't want to get hit by attacks, because I'll lose plenty of health doing using cards when I don't have resources for them.
Yeah, and
oh god, he is insanely close to me. This is kind of bad.
It can definitely put you down to 1.
Yeah, there's 98 health gone.
Ooh, and yeah.
I do want to tell Tech to get ready on time, assuming I like beat this boss successfully. Because yeah, when the boss is dead, I will get the stage ending. I get to select my rewards. When I click away my rewards and the screen goes to black, that's when time is. But I might die here.
Very possible. I mean, this boss is where runs go to die. My PB was something
That's him done. Okay, get ready on time. I had a good chain of cards there. Alright, select my cards here. Skip them and time. Okay, that was more nerve-wracking than it needed to be. Take two light rays to the face like nobody's business.
Yeah, that final boss though is a real doozy every time.
Yeah, exactly. I've had many. So I've had a very long quest to get to break the sub 40-minute loadless time. And I've had like 5 or 6 sub 40 pace runs die to God of Destruction before I finally got it.
Yeah, I've not done many proper runs, but I think my personal best is something like 2.5 hours because of that boss. Just retrying it and retrying it and retrying it because I refuse to give up.
Ooh, alright, what marathon time do we have here? Because some things went wrong, so it probably isn't anywhere close to...
It was 49:34.
49:34, and I'm seeing in chats 26 and why did I set the estimate to 15 minutes? That was a terrible idea.
It was your choice. But
I know it was my choice because it is a terrible idea. But yeah, so yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this more obscure From Software game.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, for being on commentary on quite the short notice. This is a cool game, and it's got a sequel. So, you know, check this game out if you have any inclination to. Is that a real word?
Yep, inclination is definitely a real word. Okay,
well, and yeah, thanks to BSG as well for letting me have this this wild run here, because it is quite wild with all the out of bounds shenanigans I've been doing. Absolutely. I've been DoubleDubbel. I'll be back tomorrow for Disney Stars and Untamed, but there's many more runs that are also exciting.
Well,
So yeah,
thank
take
you.
care and enjoy everything.
Well, thank you, Double, for being available on such a short notice. It was an amazing run. Before we head out, I first have a €5 donation from Zelda Addicted saying, I'm a simple woman, I see Final Fantasy incentives, I donate. Thank you, Zelda Addicted. And with that, it's also the end of my hosting shift. And next up, we will have Rustler, where by Dangio, where our own Recalls will be the host. But so please stay tuned. But first, we will play some ads.